All right, everyone. So Mark Cuban, I guess, might be buying the Mavericks again at some point. This is from the Steinline. An unidentified Dallas investor group is interested in partnering with Mark Cuban to buy the Mavericks back from Patrick Dumont, the Steinline has learned. A source close to Dumont told me the family remains excited about the future of the franchise and the Cooper flag era. So, we obviously, the source close to the Dumonts, they aren't denying this, I guess, but they are kind of making well, they're still excited about this and all this, right? I just got to start with this, and I think this is the big thing here. What's happened with the Mavs is to me, a perfect example of what differentiates really bad franchises in the NFL and professional sports in general, right? NFL, NBA, all of them. In this case, the NBA, which is you had a GM, right, go out and make a decision that certainly was unorthodox, came with a lot of criticism, and at the end of the day, I think most people look back on it and say was a bad decision, right? Which many thought at that time. But that's not really, to me, the shocking part of this or the most important part of this. To me, the most important part is how quickly it all unraveled. There's a problem, I think, in pro sports with a lot of these owners just don't understand or seemingly don't care to understand that sometimes you have to let things ride and you have to allow the people that you put in place to make decisions, right? And to see those decisions through without, kind of pulling the plug too soon. I'm not making the argument that, it was the Mavericks would be good this year with Anthony Davis or something like that. It's not what I'm saying, right? I have no problem with them moving off of AD and kind of resetting here with Cooper Flag. My issue is that why did the Dumonts, right, when they're in charge here, why did Patrick Dumont not sit down before the trade was made and say, we're not going to allow you to do that"? What did he expect to happen when that happened? Now, if he decides, listen, we understand why you're doing this, we believe in it, we're going to let you see this through, you don't trade AD and you don't get rid of the guy so quickly the next year. I understand there was backlash. I get all of that, but it feels like they made maybe the worst decision, right? We could all say, okay, the best decision would have been no trade at all. Fine. I'm in agreement. But you know what would have been probably a better decision? Why don't you see through whatever the plan was, right? That your GM, the reason he made the deal, because they kind of went like, I mean, the fact that they were able to get Cooper Flag this summer, because they won the lottery, that should have been a boost to this franchise. You got rid of Luca, fans weren't happy, but now you're getting Cooper Flag. How do you find a way now to turn this thing into a winner, right? And to make this thing work? And it obviously didn't work early. Then they fired Nico Harrison. Since then, it's all, kind of been, all right, this is a rebuild, right? This is a new era here with Cooper Flag. And I have no, look, I think Mavs fans are probably going to be happy when this deal goes through. I just don't understand, and I'll never understand. What did the ownership group think when the deal was done first? Did they think they were going to immediately be better without Luca? What was the thought process there? And to not even see it through, I mean, I bring up in the NFL the Aaron Rodgers with the Jets. It's like, okay, you bring in Aaron Rodgers, and not only do you bring in Aaron Rodgers, but you allow him to dictate a lot. They allowed him to dictate, you brought in players that he liked, brought in coaches that he liked. He dictated a shit ton. A shit ton. Gets injured a few plays into his first year, comes back the next year. You fire the coach, what, 4 or 5 games in? You didn't even give it, the Jets didn't even give it one season with Aaron Rodgers before they basically pulled the plug. Now, maybe Rodgers was the one who wanted to sell out, maybe, but I just don't understand these owners. I really don't. And if you didn't have the stomach to trade Luca, and you didn't have the stomach to live through what that pain may feel until you get to the finish line of that and to see it play out, why would you allow it to happen in the first place? It doesn't make sense. I mean, the trajectory of two franchises changed with that trade. The Lakers went from a team that was like, okay, their entire franchise rests in LeBron, at his age, right? He's one of the oldest players of all time, and he's still pretty good. But he was the Lakers franchise until they got Luca, and now they don't even have to worry about LeBron. Really, you hear all this talk; it doesn't really matter anymore. The same way it did prior to the Luca trade. The Mavs, things changed a little bit when they got Cooper Flag, but they went from a team that had seemingly, okay, well, we don't know if we're going to be a championship winner, but we might just have this guy who's going to be, we could basically, as they did that year, they made the finals against Celtics. They can get in the finals every year with Luca. That completely shifted, and these owners didn't see it through, and I think that's the reason. Look, people make mistakes. Okay, these owners, they let Nico Harrison do it, and they're like, okay, we're never going to do that again. But they saw it through to the end, and it failed. I'd give them a break. But to jump off ship when you're not even willing, you just did the most crazy thing, and then you aren't even willing to see it through, makes zero sense to me. Makes zero sense to me. So I think Mavs fans will be happy to have Mark Cuban back, because I think they understand that if you bring Mark Cuban back, you're going to get that stability. And I know he's still there, but I think he feels probably a little bit screwed by how this all happened, because from what he said after the sale to what it looked like after the Luka trade, it felt like there was not, maybe that deal that he thought he had was not actually there. So let me know what you guys think about all this. I think Mark Cuban should certainly become, if he's going to be kind of the face of the franchise again, I think that's good, because the bottom line is, I'm not going to have a ton of respect for ownership that doesn't see through a move that they make. When you transform your whole franchise like they did, and for what, really? I mean, I guess you could make the argument, well, you transform the franchise, you end up with Cooper Flag, but at that point, you should just shut down the trade. I mean, what are you doing here? So, thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next time.